I worked with a more traditional agency. They had a great name in their community, great customers, and oldest independent agency in the state of Maryland.
Okay, well,
And I was trying to bring them. We're around since 1881.
well, and that could be their tagline, right?
Yeah,
We've been in
yeah,
business since 1881.
yeah.
That's good, but I want to know that in 2020 you're doing 2020 style business.
Michael, really excited to have you here today. Michael Jans is the co-founder of Agency Revolution, the host of the Connected Insurance podcast, and the principal of Michael Jans Advisory. It's been great getting to know you over the past few years, and happy to have you on with us today, Michael.
Delighted to be here and delighted to see you again. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of traditional agencies, they think their backyard is still their backyard, but it's not. You're competing with everyone. But there's so many other agencies that have recognized their niche. They've developed a relationship with the carriers. They've gone on a national scale and gone very deep into those niches, and they're great at building those relationships. And with the tools that you've built in your past life. And I think those traditional agencies don't realize, hey, your competition is coming for you now.
One of the great advantages of specialization is that throughout the entire journey, externally and internally, you're repeating processes over and over again. And, every entrepreneur knows that, the design of the processes is really what makes the business great. Mm-hmm. And so, if I've got a specialty in, wildland firefighters, right? Pulling that one out of a client's list, right?
Sure.
Number one, all of the marketing that I create is like targeted right to that group, right? And so on all the systems, the content, the technology, the funnel that brings them in. And then boom, now somebody calls up, says, oh, I understand you insure wildland firefighters. And, whoever, Sally picks up the phone and says, oh yeah. And they're not doing something they haven't done before. They did something that they did yesterday. And so all those external marketing, internal processes become, an insurance factory in the most elegant way.
Completely, yeah. And I think like with the niches and whatever marketing agency's in, I think what the consumer wants to hear is, hey, I have found somebody that understands the uniqueness of my business, and I have found an agent that has relationships with the carriers that's going to be able to help me, and I can stop looking anywhere else than besides with this agent.
Yeah, psychologically, I think the difference between finding a product, mm-hmm. Oh, I got my insurance from this agency, to finding a person or finding a business that with which you have relationship and trust is night and day.
Yeah.
Like one leans towards commodity, the other one towards relationship. Relationships are much more valuable. Everywhere, but in this industry, they're extremely valuable. My almost favorite axiom is the money's in the relationship, and those relationships, like I've got two groups of clients, and retail insurance agents and insurtechs. Boom, I know them both really well. If somebody else wants to come knocking on my door with a big check, I'm probably going to turn them away unless they fit in there, because I know the issues. I know the pain, and I have solutions to those pains.
Sure. No, completely. When I got into the insurance space in 2008-ish, there weren't a lot of young people in it, and that was during the last financial crisis. Mm-hmm. I studied finance in college, graduated. There weren't, you weren't going to work on Wall Street because no one was hired. The inefficiency of the industry shocked me, and then it led us to Bold Penguin and everything. But I constantly saw, there weren't a lot of young people getting into insurance, and over the years, that's always been a concern of mine. Hey, you have these agencies that are a little bit older. You need the next generation to step in. And a couple months ago, when we saw each other at that IAOA conference,
Oh, yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by the group that was there. I was like,
Yeah.
these are my people. I mean, this is good stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, younger group, progressive thinking. So my question was really around, do you see, the events that are happening today being a catalyst for, since people are going to have more flexible work, presumably, do you see this being a catalyst to getting a younger generation in, or, just that technology will have to be adapted in order to survive?
We do see a number of Gen X and some millennials taking over the boomer, generation, first generation or the previous gen. They're taking it over. And then there's also kind of a surprising number of, in most cases, smaller kind of startup agencies run by millennials and Gen Xers who have none of the legacy to deal with, right? So they kind of move fast. I think that it's probably relatively easy to predict that the pace of consolidation is going to increase, right? Private equity, people still have, money they want invested. And so, private equity tends to be pretty good. Valuations are down, so maybe it's a really good investment. So I think we'll see some continued consolidation there. But I wonder, and this is a question, I really should be asking the CEOs of carriers. Mm-hmm. How open are they to adopting, accepting, and even, helping recruiting and supporting younger people who might want to get into this business and to be able to do it remotely? I mean, frankly, I run an advisory service out of my casita. I can run, and I've got team members in, New Mexico, Oregon, California, 2 or 3 other places, right?
Yeah.
They don't come here. We meet there. we meet like you and I are right now. And so, heck, I could run an insurance agency out of here. But if I went to, carrier A, B, or C, would I get an appointment? So that's a good, you've raised a good question for which I don't have a great answer. I think on the surface, consolidation is easier to see. But that being said, if there were people, the millennials and Gen Xers who were saying, look, this is an opportunity. This is a pretty good business if you know how to do it right.
Sure.
If you understand a little bit about strategy, technology, and content, you can run a heck of a good, if you run this, like I call it, like an insurerpreneur, mm-hmm. where you really, you really accept the fact that one, the customer has the power now, the balance power is shifted to the customer. And 2, I'm going to find my best customers and deliver a journey to them that goes from prospect to raving fan. You're going to win, but you're not going to be, you're probably not going to be paying your rent and your groceries and childcare the first couple of months. It's going to take a while to get there. And so I think the industry should find some way to support that, because the agencies who are willing to go that path, they're going to grow.
Yeah.
They're going to grow.
I couldn't agree more with you. Well,
let's find a solution. Let's make it happen.
Well, Michael, I know we're close to time here. I can't thank you enough for joining me. I always enjoy the conversation. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is great.